Sounds good.
Hey, hello, and welcome, Anita. I'm so excited to be doing this interview with you today. For everyone, Anita is a improvement psychic, and yay! So, Anita, welcome. And maybe the first question, let us know what you do as an improvement psychic. It is an unusual title. It's such a beautiful one, and I'm so excited to hear more about it.
So, I decided to be an improvement psychic because I'm all about helping people find their power and not even give their power away in the first place. I want to help people improve from where they are up and not down or in a codependent way. And so, as a psychic, many times you get, all these questions about the future and like what is the potential for this and what am I supposed to do over here and what am I supposed to do over there? And so, like, I learned pretty early on, very, very quickly, that I didn't just want to tell the future. I really wanted to help people get there. And in order for them to get there, they have to improve whatever it is that they're seeing or thinking or believing about themselves in order to get to their potential. So the improvement cycle was born.
Beautiful. I absolutely love it. And I can totally resonate with what you're saying because as a psychic, you often get those questions and it's getting
Right.
sometimes a little bit more into the area of fortune telling than it's actually
Mm,
getting in the area of really helping people improve their lives, which is ultimately what it's all about, right? So
right.
yeah, beautiful. Awesome. And your zone of genius, you said, is also in the empowerment of people to really help people finding their power.
Right.
What do you feel like out of your own experience? I mean, working with people as coaches as we do, we see so many pitfalls, see so many things that people really get stuck on. What do you feel is kind of like the most predominant reason why people really give away their power or lose their power or not
Simply, I
find
think
their
it's
power?
Yeah, I think it's simply because people do not believe that they are valid, that
Mm,
they are smart enough or good enough, or that they could simply have the special sauce, whatever it is that they are looking for, that they already have it, and they just need to be taught to see it.
mm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And this can then provide so many stumbling stones for people to go
Mm,
into not enoughness and unworthiness and beating themselves up.
right.
Absolutely. So
It's
how
like
do
it goes down, like it starts with this one thing and it just goes down and it just trickles into all of these areas that they're being.
yeah.
And I'm just like I get it because I've been there. It's like I've been there. Sometimes I am there, right? Like it's not all just perfect roses and everything,
Yeah,
but it's just like when people do not learn how to stop that type of momentum from going, it just takes them out.
exactly. And it's a bit of an epidemic in nowadays world, right? Because we're trained early on that we have to be so competitive. And then with that, like not everyone is naturally competitive. Like I know me myself, also kind of like in my human design chart, there's no competitiveness whatsoever, but we're really trained like already in kindergarten or in preschool and in school to be comparative and competitive in all of these things, right? So
Yeah.
naturally, we really get into this unworthiness so early on, and it's kind of like it's running as a program. And then, as
Yes.
you say, it
Yes.
really trickles down into all of these areas: relationships, business, career, school, all of these things. And next thing you know, it is very hard then to correct, especially if you're not really aware of it, right?
That is very true. Very true. Yeah.
Mm. So, how do you usually work with people, especially in this field of unworthiness? Kind of like, what are your kind of like go-to tools? If you can just touch upon those a little bit, because I feel the whole unworthiness thing is something that everyone is kind of like. Most people know a little bit about that, whether they're aware of it or not. They somehow, don't feel they can live up and kind of like to that raised bar that they kind of like being subjected to.
Right.
So what are usually
So
the areas?
so my first go-to, or the intention, is for people to stop trying to reach a bar that's not their own.
Mm.
just simply decide to make their own bar and just simply find their enough in the now, to
Mm.
find their well-being and good in the now, and to move from there, and to not feel bad about the feelings that are coming up, to not feel bad about, the thoughts, the emotions, or all that stuff, and just like come from a place of complete acceptance without bypassing anything. It's a kind of like looking their fear like straight in the eyes and be like, look, I get it. I have fear. Like, you're totally like holding me back right now. Right. But I have a different goal. There is something else that I want. Like the whole process that I'm helping my clients with, it's very gentle. It's very, very supportive. It's very, it's like one of my clients, she was like really funny about it. She's like, yeah, no, working with you, I don't feel like my emotions have to bleed in order for me to get it. And I was like, yeah, no, they don't. You just have to find out how to talk to you the right way, or to reach yourself the right way. And you know what, um most of our lives, the way that we have been reached didn't work. Right? Like stuff didn't work out for us when we called ourselves dumb and stupid,
Mm.
and not smart enough, and whatever and whatnot, right? But when you are actually meeting yourself from a place of love, not telling your shadows whatever to quote unquote shut up and sit down, but to actually like get to know them, work with them, and then gently move them out of the way, it's so much more powerful, I found, and sustainable.
Beautiful, exactly, exactly. Because when you beat yourself up, or when you apply so much force and so much pushing, it's like really the effect is going into the exact opposite direction, and that's obviously what
Right.
we don't want. We've already had enough of that, and we've compressed everything down and compacted and all of that. So that
Right.
inevitably leads to explosion at some point, right?
Right.
I really like what you said there about the emotional part, because I always feel like we have this emotional charge that is so much, that is
Mm,
so loaded, right? And that
right.
makes it so difficult to get out of this rut, or out of this programming, out of this pattern, or out of this hamster wheel, even that we are kind of like running on subconsciously. And the other thing that you said that really stood out for me, that is something that I teach a lot with my clients as well, is presence. And we hear it so much in the
Mm,
spiritual communities, but so it's almost like become this unattractive term or uninteresting term. But
right.
like presence, it's everything, isn't it?
It is everything, and the only reason why it sounds so not non-attractive is because we made it too complicated.
Mhm.
There's like, it's like just on the top of my head, there's like five different ways that pop in my mind where it's like that I can find my way to presence, right? But the thing is you have to find your own unique way to presence. Not everybody. I remember like doing courses where people are like, it's like, okay, so here, this is what I want you to do. And they would like give me this list of things to do that I'm supposed to be doing daily. And I'm just like, that just didn't fit into my day because I didn't have the opportunity as a mom of two, right? Like
Mhm.
I don't have the opportunity to just, plop myself down and meditate for 30 minutes,
Yeah,
3 times a
exactly.
day,
Yeah.
right? Or to just like put the headphones on and leave my kids be, right? Because they want to have attention, they want to be talked to. Or one time this one lady was like, she was like, yeah, you do this and you do that, and travel the world. And I'm like, again, I have two children at home. Traveling the world is just not a thing, right? Like, well, then you don't want it bad enough. I'm like, that didn't sit right with me, girl. You know what I mean?
I can
It's not
imagine.
about
Yeah.
that. It's not even about that. I got kids at home. You know what I mean? Traveling the world with two kids into to places that I'm not even 100% sure I would go to by myself. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
I hear you. It's not the most practical solution to go travel the world in order to get present, right? It's a bit
Right.
a
Right.
complicated way, I would say, out of all the processes.
Pretty much. So I just had to find a way for me to to find becoming present in a way that worked for me, in
Mm.
a way that worked for me in the season of my life of where I'm at.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Beautiful. And at the end of the day, it's not really about the process, isn't it? Because again, the process really detracts from being present. So the
Exactly. If you
process,
constantly keep thinking about like, okay, so step one, step two, step 4, wait a minute, I missed step 3. Uh, should I start over again? It's like you're just making it too complicated. Like
and then you are
being
in your head again, then, right?
yeah, and then you are in your head again, and then you're starting to feel bad because you didn't get it the first time, and then
Yeah.
you maybe reach out to somebody like, hey, should I do this first, and then should I do that first? No, just it's really like as simple as me picking up my glass of water at this point for me, because I found my way, right? I have a glass of water standing right here. It's really as simple as for me grabbing up my glass of water and just, I'm in the now. I
Yeah.
have dropped all my anxiety. I have dropped all my fears. I have dropped all my whatever it is, and I can do it like at a moment's notice. I can be doing my laundry. I can be doing the dishes. I can, just drop everything and be fully present with my children. It's
Mhm.
just you have to find the way that works best for you.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's about incorporating it into your life so that you can actually embody it and not
Yes.
having to take, okay, I'm taking half an hour out of my life now so that I can be present and then I come back into my life and be in my head again. And then
Yeah.
obviously it's kind of like missing the whole point, right? Yeah.
Mm,
To
yeah.
me, presence is so much to do as well with feeling it in your body, because if you're not in
Mm,
your body, you're technically not really present anyway. So that is
yes.
something I really
Mm,
love to incorporate. Or what you said about, okay, being really mindful about grabbing your glass and being really present and, interacting with the children in a really present, mindful way, intentionally as well. So
hmm.
much to do with alignment and presence and harmony and all of these things.
Right, right. And I do have my moments too when I like go into my body. That's like when I like do my workouts or something. Like I am ridiculously focused on my body when I'm in my workout. It's just like everything around me just kind of disappears and it's just me in my body. I'm like, okay, breathe in, and I just like imagine like the oxygen going into my muscles, and like expanding and strengthening and tightening and all that good stuff. So it really just comes down to what works best for you in the moment and just remembering to go there when you're overthinking.
Exactly, yeah. And exactly what you said as well, that willingness to drop all of the distractions, to drop all of the to-dos, or like not even dropping the to-dos, still being able to do the do's
Hmm.
as and still be present as, right? I mean, and it comes like with advancement and with practice, I guess, as well.
Right, it does come with practice. It's like it took me, uh, I started this about 2 years ago, and
Mhm.
it was like just first when I like was doing like dishes or some housework, and now I'm just like when I do the housework, I'm just so ridiculously in it,
Mhm.
just like in this moment. It's just all about me being right here, right now, because nothing else. There's nothing else that I can do right now to be more productive than washing my dishes, right? Because everybody likes a clean environment. So for me to worry about writing copy, for me to worry about whatever it is, right? Like reaching out to clients or whatever in that moment, it's just not helpful, not at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So I try to do it now as often as I can because it starts this different kind of momentum that I really want to be in,
Mhm.
um, once I'm done washing the dishes.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Beautiful. I love it. Thank you for sharing this. Also, like, let's talk a little bit about kind of like the whole psychic component, because I know that,
Right.
the whole psychic movement and the intuitive movement and the spiritual stuff, I know that like a lot of people are so lit up by that now. So all of this
Mhm.
kind of like the knowledge is expanded and everyone wants to kind of like become psychic and hone in on their intuitive and capabilities and on their psychic skills and all of that. So tell us a little bit more about that, how you incorporate it in your work and how it all unfolded for you and all of these things.
I think the best way that I can put it especially like when it comes to, so in my business itself, I incorporate more my spirituality, which for me is simply the art of knowing who you are.
Mm-hmm.
right? Like knowing what feels good for you on all levels and not just, in my business, like what I talk about, what I share about, who I talk to, um, what I eat, what I drink, what I share, right? Like I just got really in tune with who I am, what my values are, what my energy needs in the moment, when I'm pushing, when I'm not pushing, what energy should I be in. Like I still have the same drive. I'm just a lot more gentle about it.
Mhm.
I think I don't make myself anymore. I haven't felt anything slight like a burnout in a very long time, but I'm still as productive,
Mhm.
if not more, actually.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. And I really,
Mm,
really like how you kind of like how you're going into the topic, how you're introducing it, because a lot of the times when we talk about these things, then it's like immediately going to beings and their names and how they look like and what they do for you. But you approach it from a completely different angle, right? And I know like from our private conversations that, I know how important that is, and also in the doing of that. But it's so, so beautiful to see that there's this other angle to it as well, and actually using it for your own well-being, for managing your energy, for keeping your energy clean and in harmony. And exactly that burnout, because there's so many people who burn out right now, right? A lot
right.
of people try
Yeah.
to build businesses next to a full-time job, next to being a busy mom, next to being so many things. And using your connection with energy and with spirit, and using that spirituality in that way is just such a beautiful thing to do.
Yeah, that's important because I believe this work that we are doing, it's super important because I feel like now it's a time where people just need to know their personal power. People just need to know that they have options, that they have capabilities, that they can make a change, but it cannot cost me in the process. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? I can't be pouring from an empty cup in the process,
Exactly.
being
Yeah, yeah.
completely overwhelmed and tired, and my house would be a total disaster just so that I can do this work. It's just no, because my kids don't deserve that. I don't deserve that. And it doesn't make for a good service at all, actually.
Beautiful. I love that. And it's really about sustainability, isn't it? Because it's not about achieving something in this and that amount of time. I think this is
Right.
something that in the coaching industry, especially, is kind of like so widespread, that we almost like beating down upon ourselves in order to get somewhere in a certain time frame. And
Right.
we hear that so many times as well, like when we try to manifest or doing whatever, or build a business, whatever it is. And it's always like, yeah, I want to achieve this goal by this and this deadline. Not that the
Right.
deadline is bad, but that we really pressurize ourselves so much with time, when actually it is about building something, a business or whatever it is, over time and with sustainability.
Right. And when especially when it comes to manifesting, it's just like, there are many different ways of manifesting. There's not just one way of manifesting. And you mentioned it, human design. Not everybody manifests the same way.
Mhm.
There's people, that clearly that just can't sit down and be like, I want this, and by the afternoon they have it, right? And then there's people that are like, I want this, and it takes a little while, right? But then those are the people that are just like, well, but why is it not showing up for me? Instead of learning to stay in the energy and learning that it works for you in a certain flow, right? Until learning to stay in the energy until it shows up. And don't get me wrong, right? I still have a problem with that sometimes because I'm just like, yo, bro, you know what I mean? It's like, I am in the energy. Why isn't it showing up? But I understand that I am simply not a out of air manifestor producer. That for me, it takes a little while. That is just it just takes a little while until it shows up.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm okay with that though. So I personally, for me, I got rid of deadlines. For
Mm.
me, I got rid of deadlines. I'm just like, okay, so this is what I want, and I'm aligning with that as often and as long as I can,
Mhm.
and that's it.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. There's this beautiful thing that I heard Abraham Hicks say at some point, and I know that you're a big fan of it as well. Like we constantly, we constantly geek out about them. So, but in one episode, they mention about how important it is to actually like be in the again presence, be in the moment, and enjoy every single moment, and enjoy the journey to the manifestation instead of actually focusing so much on the manifestation for it to come and be like realized already in reality.
Exactly. And just like literally just honor every moment, like in everything. I think that's what most people don't understand, especially when it like, manifesting and that whole like, being in a high vibration, all the good stuff, and like being in the flow. What most people don't understand, you're not always being in the flow, being in the moment doesn't always mean it's all sunshine and roses.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't. Sometimes it literally means that you are just going to feel like crap for a little while. And you are going to have to honor that for a little while, because you are going to have to learn to accept that you have lived a life and that you are feeling like crap right now because something got triggered in you because it's not showing up. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important to, I feel like that should be mentioned a lot more, that it's not just about feeling good, but about literally just like accepting who you are in the moment as is, and not wanting to change it as we have it lately in our conversations, not
Yes.
wanting to change it, but just allowing us to sit with whatever it is that we need to sit in order to release the tension, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like it's been such a big component, such a big component. And
Mm,
like in my own life, I keep learning it from so many different angles because at the
mm,
point when I got into the whole energy movement, psychic, ability things, I actually came from a place where I did a lot of body work to release that tension and to, become present, and, was using it with clients and to really release all of these things, like speaking about letting go and surrendering and all of these things. But oftentimes you have to learn something from different angles, especially when you want to
right,
teach it, right? Especially when you feel you have this gift to pass it on to other people. But then it's not
right,
like the universe is like, yeah, but we're not doing this up superficially, we're not doing this just from one angle, like we're diving deep. Right?
right. It's like, you're gonna have to learn this, girl. I'm like, oh my god, okay, fine, I'm ready.
It's so
That's pretty
funny.
much how that goes.
But it's so good as well because we got to dive in really, really deep on exactly
Yes, we did.
this area, which you've just touched upon. And the other thing that you touched upon that I feel is so, so important is what you just said, and actually what you're doing is like really sharing honestly how you feel and how, what is realistic. Because again, something that we often see, and that is something that I've seen working with my community and with my clients as well, is that people often have this not this connotation, this thinking that when you're in the psychic space, or when you're an intuitive, or when you're a coach or a leader, or some kind of like thought leader in some way, shape, or form, like that you always feel good most of the time and everything
Oh,
is roses and all of these things.
no.
And part of it is probably shaped by social media, because like inevitably we do, like everyone shares more of the good stuff, because obviously you want
Right.
the positive stuff to propel and to get larger. So obviously I get it, but I still feel like there's this notion of people think you need to be good and perfect all the time, and they are applying it to themselves and they're expecting it from other people, and it just doesn't work, and it's not realistic, neither in the coaching space, nor in the psychic space, nor in the spiritual
Mm-mm.
community. So
Like, don't get me wrong. When I get to work, like when I work with somebody, like with my clients, I come like I set my energy. Like I don't just go for it. Like if I'm in a stressful situation or something like that, I don't just go for it. When I'm in a stressful situation and I'm not able to quote unquote raise my vibration and come from a place of complete love, right? Then I don't channel. I really
yeah.
don't. Like then I don't get into the connection, and I'm not going to give the client any advice. I really only do it after I quote unquote that sort of like prop my energy, set my intention, and make sure that my ego and my intellectual mind is out of the way so that I can be the clear channel,
Mhm.
right, that people are asking me to be. But I'm not always there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just the other day, I shared on my Facebook that I literally, like, I was driving, and we're here in Alaska, right?
Mhm.
And there is like it's snow and ice outside, and it's cold as you wouldn't believe. I mean, it is ridiculous. And I was driving to the nearest town, and there was this woman on the highway behind me, and she was tailgating me, like she was like ridiculously stupidly driving, right? And I lost my crap. My kids weren't used to that from me, but I lost my crap. And when I then like posted it on my Facebook, people actually reached out to me, because in that I called her a quote unquote heifer, right? People reached out to me like, oh, like, know, um, as far as like, in the sense of like, I should have transcended that, I should have been over it, and stuff like that. I'm like, no, no, because let's not forget, we are here to live a human experience, and human experience entails anger. Human experience entails that I will have an opinion about you if you put my family in danger
Mm.
for being stupid. Then you are in fact a dumb thing to me, and I will express it in some way, shape, or form. Right? I would express it in some way, shape, or form. So I find it really important for me personally to share that side as well, because like you're saying, it's just not, I'm I'm not that person. I listen to, when I work out, my playlist sounds like I have done no spiritual development whatsoever. Okay. It sounds like something is seriously wrong with this chick, and she's like out there to get everyone. That's what my soundtrack looks like when I work out. But when I work, when I'm in that space, that's when I raise my vibration, and in between, I simply accept who I am. It just is what I is. It just is what it is.
So beautiful, and so authentic. And exactly that is so refreshing in this time where we just see polished pictures everywhere, and polished messages and edited stuff and all of these kind of things. And authenticity, I think, is something that it's priceless. It's priceless.
Mm,
It's important to
yes,
be
it is.
vulnerable. It's important to be authentic. And what you said there about being human, like, we are here to be human, right? Like, yes, we are so
Right.
much more than that. At the same time, it's important to recognize that, but first and foremost, we came here to experience, to feel, and to feel the good and the bad, because otherwise we wouldn't have come into an environment like 3D where there is contrast, there is duality, and we grow from that. We learn from that. As much as it pains us
Exactly.
sometimes, it's not always comfortable, but this is why we're here. And it's those emotions as well that make us human and add to this human experience, isn't that? So again, beating up on
Yeah.
ourselves or shaming it is not really the way to transcend either, I guess.
No, and that, quite frankly, just showed me that the person that reached out didn't get it. You know what I mean? Like, the people that reached out to me, it's like, yeah, no, you don't quite get it. That I am fully okay with who I am, and that is the only thing that matters, really, truly. If I'm okay with myself, I know my guides are okay with me. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure Source knows who I am. You know what I mean? Like, no, they good. We're good. I'm straight.
I absolutely love it. It's so beautiful. And again, it's so refreshing. Anita, I would love to know kind of like, what's your vision? I mean, like, you work with so many different beautiful tools. You have these psychic gifts, you have all of these beautiful personal development skills as well. You're doing a lot of work on yourself, with yourself. You're constantly evolving, growing, analyzing, taking stock in all of these things. Like, where do you want to go? What's your vision? What's your mission? Kind of like, just to like, from this feeling aspect.
So for the longest, honestly, I can't even say that has changed. For the longest time, I worked with entrepreneurs. Lately, I'm feeling with entrepreneurs. I'm still want to work with entrepreneurs because when you help good people get rich, they will help their causes,
Mm.
which will help the earth in some way, shape, or form, or whatever their cause is. But I think my end goal really is wanting to help children. Like I really want to work with parents, with
Mhm.
entrepreneurial parents, because when they get rich or when they get that income that they want, you simply become a better parent. You simply become a healthier version of yourself, which raises other healthy versions, or it's like, or it shows them opportunities and possibilities that they may not have had
Yeah.
before. Like I really like, I don't know, it's just something about me wanting to shape the next generation or helping to shape
Mhm.
the next generation, but not in the sense of like, so you become this way, but so that they are being themselves, that they from the get-go know that they have choices, that their voice matters, that their decision matters, that they can be the change. And um, and especially uh even like kids that were in human trafficking,
Mm.
helping them find their power again.
Yeah.
It's like my biggest dream would be literally just like have a book in the school curriculum, you know, teaching kids mindfulness,
Mm.
teaching kids to find
Mhm.
themselves. Like that is what I want. I really just want to help the planet get better. I can't put it in a simpler term, but
Yeah,
that's literally what it is.
that's perfect. I'm actually quite moved by it because obviously I knew that you love kids, but I didn't really know about this angle and this, this side and that vision of you. So I'm really like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. I really love it. And as you
Yeah,
said, I mean, we're, in this work, you're getting to shape the next generation, not shaping by force or by pushing, but really by allowing them to unfold in this, in this beautiful way as they are meant to. Because
right.
remember, like our generation is still a little bit different. We still were pressed in these
Mhm.
patterns, and
Right.
so that's
And
it's
I
a
mean, I see it on my kids. I know that if I would not have done all this work, my kids would not be who they are today.
Mhm.
And they would be more like I was raised, it's like to fit in, be quiet, not be too loud, do X, Y, and Z. And
Yeah.
my kids, they do not fit in. They're loud. Okay. And it's like I'm sitting here, I'm just like, is this really the right choice? And I'm like, yes, absolutely, it is the right choice. I think they know they have a choice. Like my kids, they're 6 and 4. They will not do, if they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it.
Mhm.
At 6 and 4, I was doing stuff whatever people were telling me to do,
Yeah.
like asking me to do. I would just go up and do it, and they're just like, no, I don't want to. Okay, good. You don't have to go up and hug that person. You know what I mean? You don't have to be hanging around that group. You have a choice of who you want to be your friends to be. You know, so like I see it on them now, and I'm just like, yes, because they also choose already the emotions that they want to be in, which
Yeah.
is amazing to me. I'm an adult. I had to learn this in my 30s, and my kids already know. It's like, oh wait, this is anger. It's okay for me to be angry, but it's not okay for me to be mean to somebody just because I'm angry. You know what I mean? It's like I'm sitting there. I'm just like, oh my god, what have I done? This is amazing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I mean, especially in those like formative years, because they say our personality, our internal chemistry forms between the ages of 3 and 7, probably before 3, but like especially
Yeah,
between 3 and 7, we're literally like sponges during that time. We just take on everything. We don't have a filter on our own as at that stage. And then
right.
that determines to a degree how our life is going to go in terms of how we absorb these things and how we process these things, but we're not getting trained to do it unless you're lucky enough to have a mom like
You
Anita.
know, I
You
was like,
see that stuff, right?
maybe I should raise them differently. You know what I mean? Like maybe I don't want to have kids, and that's the thing. Like I don't want to have kids that could become adults and feel like they have to find themselves.
Mm.
I Obviously, I can't control everything, and there will always be a moment where they probably will have to find themselves, right? But not to the extent where I was, or
Mhm.
many others are that come and reach out to me at
Mhm.
this point, you know?
Absolutely. So, so, so beautiful. The other thing that I wanted to get into, maybe kind of
Mhm.
like as kind of like us wrapping up the interview, was something that you've mentioned before we got into the vision topic, and that was kind of like a little bit about the money, because what I feel is, yes, it's about the money, but it's not about the money.
Right.
It's not really about the money at all at the end of the day, isn't it? And so many times we really make it about the money. So yes, it's a part of it. It's kind of like an integral piece, because that's kind of like what the current currency is. In like, in my humble opinion, I feel our currency will change at some point. It will move over from actual kind of like money to the skills that we have, to who we actually are. I feel at some point that's going to be our currency, and how we're gonna like pay and interact with people like at some point in the future. That's just kind of like me dreaming ahead. But the actual thing is that, you know, especially like in the coaching industry, we hear a lot of people, oh, you know, I've made a 10K month, or like I have a 5-figure a month business, or a 6-figure a year business. And I know it's very triggering for a lot of people as well.
Right.
Yet at the same point, money is so important to us. And as you said earlier as well, is like, if you have this earning capacity, this earning potential, then you can do so much amazing stuff with money. So just, you
Right.
know, give us a little bit of insight on how you tackle the whole subject, and how you kind of like feel about it.
Well, I personally think that, we came to this earth to live an amazing life on all levels.
Mhm.
So money simply is a part of that. It's like spirit knows, source, God, whatever you call it, knows money is an important thing. And I think that we all are supposed to have it. And we all are supposed to have more than enough of it. And we're all supposed to have overflow with it so that we can have fun with it. Right. Like I feel, um, you know, my service is only possible to the extent and to the level is only possible if I can sustain myself,
Mhm.
right? Like I feel like when I think about potentially having a different job, right? Going somewhere else, like working something else 9 to 5 every day for the next 30, 40 years of my life, I'm just like, all right, well, take me now. You know what I mean? It's like, nope, not so much. But when I think about what I'm doing now, this lights me up. This gets me excited. This gets me. So for me, this is what I'm supposed to do. Not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur, and that's absolutely and totally fine. Not everybody has to be an entrepreneur, right? Like some people, it all depends on what is your level of, what you do. What do you consider your level of fulfillment, right?
Mhm.
So for me, it is using my gift. It is translating the energy. It is helping someone finding their power again, right? Like that gives me life. That is what's
Mhm.
doing it for me, right? Not necessarily in relationships, right? Right? Like I'm not necessarily that one, right? But building a business, finding themselves. I am statements that are so powerful and that come through the text or through whatever, through the voice message or whatever. So I believe because that is what lights me up, that is also what I'm going to be compensated for because I'm dedicating my life to it,
Mhm.
right? For me, there is no plan B, there is no plan C. This is what I want to do. This is my service. I'm giving my time. And I'm giving my time, I'm providing the service from a space, quote unquote, higher above me, higher than 3D.
Mhm.
So I believe that now recently I came to that belief that the universe is reimbursing me through the people, um, for helping people find their own connection back to their universe or
Mhm.
to the universe in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Very beautiful, very beautiful. And I really love that aspect of, this kind of like not creating this dependency, but really like it's about connecting them with their own stuff, with their own connection, with their own
Right.
vision, with their own
Mhm.
everything, right? So that is,
Right,
and that is
right,
like, to me, it's priceless.
right. Like,
To me,
I
that's
don't want anyone to be dependent on me. I don't want nobody to text me in the morning, "Hey, should I wear red shoes or white shoes?" I'm like, dude, I don't. No, I'm not the person for you. Here's your money back. Go somewhere else. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not that type of person. But if somebody wants to come to me because they are tired of the stories that they've been telling about them, about themselves, and they are like, ready to just be grounded and solid in themselves and making moves from a place of knowing that they are enough. Yeah, totally. That's me. you know,
beautiful.
that's me.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you so, so much for for these insights, for this chat, for this interview, Anita.
Oh, that's so much fun.
It's
I
been
love it.
such a pleasure, it's such an honor, as usual. And who
Mm.
knows, we might have more of those, have those
No,
recorded.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. This is so much fun. So much.
So the viewers and the listeners, where can they find you? Where can they find out more about what you do, what you offer? Do you have anything on offer right now that is special that you would like to let everyone know about?
I think the easiest way to find me is just to click on the name and message me. Like that is the absolute easiest way to find me. And then right now I am promoting a program called Change Your Boss Status,
Mhm.
but I am a very firm believer of connecting with people first and hearing, because when I hear, or when I read, or when I get their energy, when they allow me to get their energy, it's very like it. I can already then tell. It's like, okay, so maybe change your boss that is not what you need right now, but maybe this service.
Mhm.
I'm also like, I have no problem with saying no to people, like at all. Or just like, no, I'm not the person for you, but I know someone, maybe, right? It's like I have no problem with like giving the people truly what they need. But I feel for certain things, a connection is truly the best way to go first,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, connections and relationships above everything
Right,
else.
right.
Absolutely. I'm totally there with you. So,
Especially if we're gonna be in each other's face like that, you know what I mean? It's just like, you wanna know if you like me, if you can resonate with me, and if I can resonate with you, right? Like if we are on that, like if you are on that level where you wanna go, pretty much, if you're ready to go there, because if you're not, I'm not into wasting my time. I'm not into wasting anyone else's time, and certainly not money. Um, I wanted, like, when someone reaches out to me, I really want them to get their money's worth, and they have to be a certain level of ready in order to get their money's worth. Does that make sense?
exactly. Yeah. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I am, because I keep banging on a little bit about, really coming from the heart and from the soul, really do the things that fuel the soul and those connections. And that
Mm,
is, it's really what it's all about, isn't it? Because everything else is then
right.
not really authentic and not really,
Exactly.
yeah, not
Exactly.
really,
That's why it's important to show who you truly are, so people like see it, because like you said, it's not always sunshine and roses. I'm not that person. I sometimes I cuss, sometimes I don't. you know like I'm pretty direct, so that's why it's so important to build those connections, show who you are, and people will see if they like you or not.
absolutely. I so honor your voice, your truth, your message, everything that you're all about, Anita. Thank you so much
Nah.
for this interview. I'll be sure to link up your Facebook profile with this podcast so that people can find you. And yeah, it was just a wonderful pleasure. And I'm sure that we will speak again very, very, very soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.